And if you still perceive time moving faster and faster, even though you're reciting the Quran to complete the whole Quran in 1 month, and you're doing it in accordance with the proper juz, each juz for the particular day. You're not chopping the Quran into bits and pieces, and you still perceive time moving faster. Be patient. Keep on making the khatam of the Quran month after month, until eventually, inshallah, your heart will once again beat in harmony with the rest of Allah's creation. Then you will enjoy life. Otherwise, when time is moving faster and faster, you're going to dance to every tune that Dajjal plays. That's right. On this, the 25th day, as we approach the end of Ramadan, notice that in the sky, the moon will eventually disappear from the evening sky and the night sky. And it's going to be a dark night. And it's going to be the stars which will take over from the moon. Have you noticed that? As the month is coming to an end. There are two reasons for this. The first reason, of course, is that when the sky is dark, it becomes more easy to recognize the new moon when she's born, the baby is born. And to watch the movement of the new moon as she grows, the baby grows, becomes an infant and a child. And then the second reason is, as you have been reciting the Quran in accordance with the moon, and the moon has been helping you to return to lunar time, and the moon has been teaching you so many things connected with the Quran. As the month comes to an end, and now the stars replace the moon, recitation of the Quran now begins to give way to study of the Quran. You cannot study the Quran unless you are first reciting the Quran. When I'm no longer in this world, please teach this. Teach it to your children. Teach it to the young ones. You cannot study the Quran unless you are first reciting the Quran. And when you recite the Quran, it must be recited as it ought to be recited. And I have already taught that. So as the month is coming to an end, as Ramadan is now coming to an end, the message from the sky, as the moon disappears eventually and the dark night comes, and then starlight replaces moonlight in the sky, the message from the Quran is now the stars are taking over. And that's the ayah or the verse of Surah Al-Waqi'ah that I recited yesterday. Oh, it's a lovely verse. A lovely verse. I love this ayah of the Quran. Ba'da'uzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Fala uqsimu bimawaqi'in nujum. And Allah says, I take an oath, a qasam, by the mawaqim, the positions in which the stars are located. وَإِنَّهُ لَقَسَمٌ لَوْ تَعْلَمُونَ عَظِيمٌ. And this is no ordinary oath. This is the mother of all oaths, qasam. Tremendously important. What is it he's talking about? I take an oath by the positions in which the stars are located. Here's the answer. إِنَّهُ لقرآن كريم في كتاب مكنون. This is a recitation. Quran means recitation, which is kareem, which is noble and generous, and it is located in a kitab or a book which is protected. لا يمسه إلا المطهرون. None can touch this book other than those who are pure. Pure, the heart being pure for Allah. So Allah is not talking about physical touch here. لا يمسه إلا المطهرون. He's talking about penetrating the Quran, penetrating the Quran. So if your heart is not pure for Allah, you don't worship Him with purity. You don't live for Him, you're not prepared to die for Him. You won't be able to penetrate even this much, touching the surface of the Quran. That's the meaning of the ayah. It is mutashabiha, it is not muhkama. This was what we did on the last occasion. That if you recite the Quran as it ought to be recited, number one, time will move slower, deliciously slow. Number two, it prepares you now for mawaqi an-nujum, for studying the Quran, to see how the verses of the Quran are interconnected with each other. And so now, as the month is coming to an end, it's the time to study the Quran. Allah says about the Quran that it is tibyanan likulli shay, it explains all things. And so it must explain the strange world in which we live today. The most visible thing about the world today, that is a universal phenomenon, the only one who cannot recognize it are the summun bukmun fahum la ya'kirun, the dumb and the blind who cannot think. They are the only ones. They don't recognize it. What is it? That we live with universal fasad. Everything is corrupted now. All around us there is corruption, including the food that we eat, the water that we drink. Yes, our plants, our animals, everything is being corrupted now. Around the world. Water, the rivers are all polluted now. What is it possible that this universal facade around the world is by accident? Huh? Is it possible that the Quran would not have an explanation for the universal facade? The only people who don't see the universal facade is your Darul Uloom. I'm sorry I have to come back again and again to them because I'm struggling. This is my mission in life, for a new model of a Darul Uloom which has the capacity to think. What is the explanation of this universal facade, universal corruption all over us? Political corruption, economic corruption, monetary corruption, educational corruption, religious corruption, fighting each other over peanuts, sectarianism. There must be an explanation, and it has to be in the Quran, because Allah says of the Quran that it is tibyanan likulli shay, meaning it explains all things.